All right, y'all. So, monstrous trio team: Red Hood, Red Hood, Rappy, and Eve. Monstrous trio. Um, we're going in here. Expect greatness. You're probably going to see Eve hit the hardest. If you go back through any of the showcase, you're probably going to see Eve hit the very hardest right here, the absolute hardest right here with this team. There's way too much that this team offers. Not only, first off, Helm gives a crit rate buff, right? Right there. She has attack damage when you enter a full burst, and she has healing, which very works well with this character right here, who has an attack damage buff when she gets healed. Not to mention, anybody who uses their burst skill gets a reload speed buff and attack buff. Not to mention, when Crown uses her burst skill, crazy attack damage buff, which works well with this because guess what? This character also gives an attack damage buff and does crazy damage herself. Not to mention, she gives damage taken increase continuously, which is very good for Eve because she does that as well. Um, just expect greatness. I don't even know what to tell you. Expect greatness. I'm sorry. The Monstrous Trio team is my favorite trio, obviously. I think they're like the Tanjiros and Natsune Inosuke of Nikke. They're just different. Shout out to Demon Slayer. I just finished Demon Slayer, caught up yesterday. Um, but let's take a look and see what we're looking at right here. So Eve is sitting at 15 million, and she jumped from 15 million to what? What is the final number going to be considering all the buffs we got going on here? She jumped from 15 million to 312 million. Very powerful in my opinion. Now, obviously, Rappy, who hasn't even used her burst skill, is showing a lot more because she was higher than Eve without her burst skill. And after her burst skill, she goes from whatever 312 to 1 billion. Rappy is this is what I mean. Rappy will forever prove to be the best burst sneaky in the game, but it's okay. Eve, what is Eve at here? Eve is hitting hard too, though. Like every time Eve uses her burst skill, she's going up by 300 million. And this is what I mean. This is exactly what I mean. Eve is going to be the best with the Monstrous Trio team. But realistically, any DPS that comes out will be the best with the Monstrous Trio team. Right? So I know a lot of people are like, volume, crit buffers, crit damage buffers. No matter what crit buffers you use with Eve, they will never ever in their life make her hit harder or get her to hit harder than how she performs with this team right here. I'm sorry. I don't want to be that guy, but I will be that guy if I have to. Eve is not hitting harder on a crit team than she is with this team. That's just the reality. Look at her. She's at 1.1 billion, while Rappy is at 2.8 billion. It's fine, right? Obviously, if we're considering this, Rappy has elemental damage on every single piece of her gear, and she's core 7. That's a different level. Like, that's just a different level. This Eve is just max limit break with elemental damage on 2 pieces, right? Now, Rappy's a different story completely. Like, Eve is a Pilgrim level character, in my opinion. If we're considering Mihara a Pilgrim level character, I think it's fair to say Eve is a Pilgrim level character, right? You cannot tell me Mihara is triple S in bosses. I don't even know if she is. I'm not sure. Let me take a look. I don't know if Mihara's triple S in bosses, but you cannot tell me Mihara is good and then tell me Eve is bad. You know what I mean? But I don't think anybody's gonna call Eve bad. Really, like in reality, I doubt anybody's gonna call Eve bad. But you gotta get what I'm saying, right? I just want to pull up Pride One on my phone real quick and see where they have Miss Mihara. I think I have Eve over Mihara, guaranteed. Does that put Eve in the top 10? No, because Mihara is not even in my top 10. Where's bosses? Yeah, they have Mihara in triple S for bosses. So expect Eve to be in triple S for bosses. Like, that's all I can say. Expect her to be in triple S for bosses. Outside of that, I'm not sure. I don't really know if I'm gonna say Eve is like, triple S outside of boss. Why would Eve be triple S outside of bosses? Or like Like, I don't know. I don't think she's that good. I want to try her against mobs. I feel like she's not going to be the best against mobs because it's like she has to land 44 critical hits to pop off, right? And it's like with mobs, it's not going to be as consistent as a boss that's just standing there, you know? Um, you know what I mean? Like, sure, you guys kind of understand what I'm getting at here. We're going to jump up insanely by numbers. I think we're going to end up with like 13 billion, which is crazy because the highest score on this account is 16 billion. That is through, 3 billion less, but still, that's quite crazy. Eve, what's your final number here? That's the question of the day. We're going to get through 13 billion. What is Eve's final? She's getting crits non-stop. What is her final number here? 2.8 billion? Well, Rappy's at what? 2.8 billion. Eve, you impress me every other day. You're good. Let's try her in Tower. Or, I don't even know where we are in hard campaign. I feel like this account will probably be done hard campaign. I'm not sure. People don't usually do hard camp. Okay, here we go. Perfect. There's a deficit. Let's try Eve with the Monstrous trio team, and here. I don't want to switch your team up, my guy. I'm so sorry. I'm not going to remember to put this back. I'm so sorry. Rebuke, I'm talking to, obviously. Monstrous trio, Rappy and Eve. Where's Eve? This is kind of scary for me. I feel like this is kind of scary for me. I feel like this is scary. This is nerve-wracking for me. Is Eve good outside of like bosses? Is Eve good in a low deficit? Is Eve good? Can Eve get the job done? We're gonna find out right now. Okay. Let me go to Helm because that's crazy burst generation. There we go. Once you get your burst skill off the first time, is Eve gonna cook up here? Because her burst skill isn't like all that crazy in terms of clearing mobs. You see what I mean? I think we'll be fine, but in a lot of other situations, we would have already been dead here. I feel like. But then when Rap uses her burst skill, every enemy is just gonna be bye-bye, right? Yeah. Okay. It's expected. But if she can perform, like I'm gonna give Eve the benefit of the doubt. If Eve can perform perfectly fine in these stages, right? If she can perform perfectly fine, not dying, actually getting kills and doing damage, not getting carried, but doing damage, then I would say she's good outside of this. This is quite the low deficit or high deficit, and this is hard campaign. This is not regular campaign. This is hard campaign, right? And obviously with a boss like that, if Eve uses her burst skill here, that boss is annihilated. And okay, Eve already used her burst skill. Okay, Rappy, you don't need to show off. Genuinely, Rappy, you're so selfish. You don't need to show off. I'm not gonna lie. Eve did good. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Eve did good, considering she wasn't type advantage. She didn't die, nothing like that. She did good. I'm gonna switch you off because you're a show off. I'm gonna put red. No, I want her to carry. I'm putting to say I want her to carry and to put Maxwell. I feel like that's crazy. Is it crazy for me to do this? To say I want Eve to carry and to put a burst 3 that's not going to help whatsoever, is that cheating? I feel like that's cheating. But with the Monstrous trio team, anything is possible. Let's take a look. I don't think she's going to carry here, right? I feel like this is just so handicapped. To make the team shit on purpose for the sake of, like, look at that. Maxwell died instantly. How could this character handle herself, though? I feel like this is not fair. Obviously, be putting this type of team together. I mean, if we get Helm's burst skill off right now, Helm. Oh my god, and she's stunned. Of course she's stunned. Finish the stun. We're dead. That's my fault. That's my fault. I literally made her go on a shit team. Let's go ahead and put Rappy back. Thank you. Let's go ahead and put Rappy back. I'm not gonna make a shit team to make Eve look bad. I'm not trying to make Eve look bad at all. I just want to see, is she good? All right, so this seems like a more of a difficult stage. There you go. But your birth generation needs to be checked. We can go to you, actually. I'm tired of it. Let's have our birth generation get on par quickly. Okay. I feel like obviously with support, having another DPS to kind of back you up for, you know, the other enemies you cannot clear, I feel like Eve is pretty good. I don't really I wouldn't trust her burst skill though in a situation like, let's say it was 20 mobs. I'm not trusting Eve's burst skill. Her damage is great, as you guys can see, but her burst skill affects random enemies, and because it attacks 6 times, I guess it's 6 enemies. So it's like I'm not trusting Eve to clear mobs. But if I have another DPS on the team, I feel like I can get far with Eve. Because as you guys see here, with the deficit between this team and this story, we're getting clears, and Eve isn't hitting the hardest, but she is doing damage. She is very close to Little Mermaid, which is saying something, because Little Mermaid is, you know, a support, but at the same time, we all know Little Mermaid is quite the DPS. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna sit here and make it seem like Little Mermaid is garbage or something. She's quite the DPS herself, but I would never use Eve in this type of content myself. But so far, she's doing good, right? I will give her that. So far, she is doing good. If I would use her burst skill second and the boss came about, she is cooking. She's not type advantage or anything like here, or anything like that. She is holding her own. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like she's great. I feel like she's great. She's taking too long to kill that enemy though. She's taking too long to kill that enemy. And Rappy's gonna use her burst skill and that enemy's dead. You see what I mean though? Oh, I think that's one of those enemies we can't even attack. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that's an enemy we can't even attack. Look. Okay, well, one died, which is Crown. And now because Crown is dead, we cannot use our burst skill unless we literally just have to go for the boss. Let's go for Little Mermaid and attack the boss. That's all we can do. Yeah, no, I expected. I'm sorry, she did a lot of damage, sure. And I mean, she didn't, but I feel like Eve, I can't trust her against mobs because of how little she can affect a boatload of mobs. So in bosses, I would say Eve is triple S. Outside of that, I don't think she's gonna rank high. I don't think she's gonna rank high outside of bosses because she doesn't have anything to cover a boatload of mobs, genuinely. But I would say Eve with the Monstrous trio team, Eve with overload gear, very, very good. But you guys let me know what you think. It's your boy Zxous. I'm out. Peace.